So welcome to Tinks Invest. We're talking about investing, finance, and professional development for today's terms only. The investment we're going to talk today would be Ethereum ETH. First, want to say happy Friday, everybody. A great week so far. We're almost to the weekend. So it's my second posting as of today with respect to recording time of 3:37 p.m. on Eastern time. Ethereum currently trading $3,841, up about 0.52% so far. On the overall crypto market, it's relatively green today. With respect to also the equity market as well, seems like there are a lot of bullish momentum that's currently experiencing right now on all fronts, despite the obvious anti-correlation effects that should be happening. But seems like as of today, on the institutional side of the house, there are a lot of monetary injections directly into specifically in Bitcoin, which is currently up about 3.15%, while at the same time dragging the whole altcoin market to go up. But at the same time, Ethereum is also having some drag effect despite the lack of correlations to Bitcoin, which is obviously their separate entity now, as we are seeing that characterization being formed as we speak. On the crypto side, on selective altcoin, like with respect to Dogecoin up about 2%, Cardano up about 2% respectively. Solana seems like it's leaping up and away at 6.61%. Polkadot is still up at 7.88% so far, while ALGORAND is at the reverse side of the house, down about 1.89%. On the equity side, on SPY is currently up about 1.11%, which in a relatively speaking perspective, mainly driven by the tech and high growth stocks, which as you can see that with Coinbase, with obviously the Bitcoin drag effect up about 7%, Tesla is up at the 2.6%, while NEO, despite the relative sell-off that we've been seeing across a lot of Chinese companies, is still up about 3.73% so far. So on Ethereum specifically, I've been looking into the news about 6 hours ago, and I've been collecting ever since my long durations of meetings. I've been having this, just today, I had like 7 back-to-back meetings, both from talking to investors, interviewing people for the partner role, to talking to reporters collectively. So I've just been speaking nonstop. And as I look at my calendar, I had like 47 meetings this week. It's insane. It looks like a glitch on my calendar for some reason. But I guess it's a good problem to have. But I'm someone that works extremely hard, and I sometimes forget to take some time off. So I probably want to take some time off this week. But we are. I promise you guys to be posting on a twice-a-day cadence on a daily basis, so I will still do so, but I'll probably cool down a little bit on my other work front, just so I can prioritize my health at the same time. But I'm okay. I have my coffee, my water, and my little biscuits next to me, so I'm okay. So with respect to the news front, sorry for the run on again. Bazinga 1 hour ago talked about there was a transfer of transaction that was made. That happened not too long ago. So this article came out 1 hour ago, talk about depiction that happened in the last 48 hours. $188.16 million of Ethereum was just transferred from 2 wallets. So it seems like the whales are, someone is doing something. It's just a big sizable transfer, but I don't know much about with respect to the depictions around, like what is the incentive behind the transfer wallets. Maybe they just want to transfer from one individual to another for for maybe a purchasing of an art piece, or because they're just transferring to for their particular monetary reasons. I don't really particularly know, but it's a sizable amount of transfer, and it's something that's worth mentioning, I guess, from Bazinga. And the next article is on Bitcoin. Is talk about like why is all of these coins surging at the moment. As I dive into the article that's come out from Bitcoin, it's about 3 hours ago, is basically the depictions around the activities among institutional investors, and they are basically saying something about, with respect to recent rally, what's really driving this is because of institutional buying activities, and they seem like they are back on the bull train. But as I read into the article, it doesn't really say much about like the confirmation among institutional investors, which are most of the time not the most obvious, right? You can tell by the volume, but I think the smart money has already been percolated when we were somewhere around like the 2,730. if you look into the chart for Ethereum specifically, the big surge that occurred was somewhere around there, like 2 green candles, right? And then subsequently 1 large green candle. And ever since then, this is just mainly driven by public investors, right? So something we want to take as a caveat with respect to what they're saying here. And then the other one is coming out from another factor is that Bitcoin ETF rumors driving the market, right? This is also another factor because of, more of like an anticipatory pressure for the Bitcoin ETF to be released later time, like later this year. So as that continue to be anticipated, investors will be buying, ahead of the confirmations or the resolution dates, right? Technically, so I believe with respect to the approval or the initialization dates for the Bitcoin EFT is not confirmatory yet. It's still a rumor, but they did say something about like the end of this year. So I think with that affectation, it's subsequently drive the surge that we're also seeing right now. And also on top of the fact that, beside these factors that Bitcoin has mentioned, we also hear a lot of news coming out from like the NFT commercialization news. You hear like people that are relatively reputable, I don't know, like Soros Fund. We hear from Mark Cuban. We hear from like even like Snoop Dogg and Reese Witherspoon on their approval on the Ethereum-based NFT commercialization. So, and also like some other crypto fund and hedge fund managers as well on the stamp of approval for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Then obviously with all of these media affectation, public investors will be chasing in, right? So that's a collective effort of market manipulations and media affectation at the same time. So the next one is on Market Watch 5 hours ago. Talk about crypto bull Pompliano says spot ETF better for investors, but beggars can be choosers as the SEC nearing Bitcoin futures approval. So the articles basically talk about, like, again, right, the support pressure that we are seeing among public investors ahead of the SEC approval for the Bitcoin ETF. So ultimately, we are in the business of risk mitigation, so we have to take a look at the technicals for us to formalize our executions for where should we dollar cost average? Should we be doing it now? Because, it seems like, and it seems obvious that public investors are chasing in and institutional investors are stamping, putting a stamp of approval for these respective coins. But is the risk management level at the optimal one that we should be investing at the moment, which we'll dive into a little bit, right? And then the last article that I see here would be 10 hours ago, talk about from Fortune magazine, Bitcoin nears 60,000 and stock jumps on earnings optimism. Again, this is something we have seen already. And we are right now currently up above, the 60,000 mark for Bitcoin. So that's it on the news. So let's just dive right into the technical front. So with respect to Ethereum right now, we have breached above the 3,043, which is the reason why we're kind of struggling right now, right? You can see that we're hovering and levitating around this level. And the next level, technically for us, will be getting to the 4,000, right? And the next level, which you can see is non-substantive, would be firstly the 3,980, basically being canceled out before we hit the 4,000. Right? And if you see from the past, the next level that you should technically go to will be the 4,050. And then you have that euphoria of going all the way to the 4,383, which is technically the all-time high for Ethereum. Right? And I think it would make sense if we were, more depleted on the RSI scale. But with this media affectation and the, frankly, manipulations from the whales, the risk is definitely increasing, right? Despite being overbought at all levels right now when we're relatively stretched up, right? If you want to buy now, remember you just have to hold it for a long term because whatever goes up really really fast comes down just as fast. And even though those signs are all bullish looking at the moment, you have to be mindful of the risk management level, right? The risk is high and is screaming at a premium. Do you want to be buying now? If you buy now because you want to, just hold it for a long term, but with that mental preparation that you could subsequently get back down to the lower levels that we were at before, like the 3,150 at the bare minimum, right? And then 2,700, 2,450, right? again, be careful, and that's the reason why I am reminding and emphasizing this point. On Bitcoin, we did reach to the 61,000. So technically, what's the next level that we could get up to? If you look at the current level right now, we are basically matching with the level that we've tested prior on March 13th, right? And after that, we have like basically, out of space, going into the $64,900 level, which is the next technical level. But the real level that we'll get to first will be the 63,800. So if the bullishness keeps going, and knowing the fact that we are at the 80 out of 70, so we're crazy overbought at the moment, we could keep going. But again, do you want to buy now? I would say no. Again, right, we have been leaping up and away. That if you buy now, it would not be the most logical move, because you would be buying on a premium in a short-term perspective. But obviously, it would be still buying at a discount in a long-term perspective. So it's really up to your risk aversion. Just know that whatever goes up really, really fast comes down just as fast, right? But overall, it's still bullish because the curvature is still leaping up. So technically, if we keep going up and for some reason the monetary circulation keeps pumping into Bitcoin, there is nothing you can do about it because it's manipulations at the end of the day, right? So with respect to Dogecoin, it's being dragged up by the overall market, so it's nothing really Dogecoin related. We still have some room to leap up to if the bullishness continues, but we were trying to form a def cross right now, so we are still in the more of an upper echelon of the overbought level. So definitely be careful. I think the more optimal level again would be the 21s and 20 and 19 cents, right? Cardano, we are up about 2% at the moment. With respect to the drag effects that we also experience across the market, we're having a delay effect for Cardano respectively. So I think, for us, to be buying at that more optimal level would be anywhere from like the 209 to the $2 mark, 209 to $205 level. Solana is up about 6.62% so far, and it seems like we just formed a def cross, so that's why we sold off. But we're slowly curving up right now with the 55. So I think as the next level logically would be going to the 172. If we form a cross section from there, but again, it's not going to be a long cross section for us to leap all the way up to the 200. But if there's like some media affectation that stirs up on Solana specifically, on obviously the just position between Ethereum or Cardano versus Solana, and it's leaning more positive on persuading on Solana, then yeah, we could technically keep going up. But like, you don't want to like test your luck, especially we are leaning more for overbought. But in the near term, I do see some bullishness because of the slow cross section that we're forming. XRP right now, the better optimal level would be at the 110 and then ideally at $101 level. And I think because of the fact that we're overbought at 60 right now, it just makes more sense that way. Polkadot, we're still leaping up. We are screaming extreme overbought at 70 out of 70 right now. We are forming an extreme outlier onto the chart. So definitely be careful, and I think it's surging because of some positive news that's been percolating on Polkadot specifically. So I would say, hold, but do not buy at the moment. If you bought at the bottom, great. Again, we were talking about this, right? 25 is the better level to buy at. Right now, this green candle kind of worries me, especially you saw this mega red, basically red candle, but it's green for some reason. This is some severe whale manipulations that we saw when we sold down by 47% in 5 minutes. Algorand, ideally would be buying at the 160 at the bare minimum, and to 150 would be the logical level. And I think we are leaning more of a bearish setup because of the curvature that we're forming down right now. So with respect to the market cycle, we are going to see some loss, anger, like leap up all the way, and we're going to be like, oh, must be euphoria, right? But I think if you drag it out, and you want to look at a long-term perspective, for us to reach all-time high again, we technically need to be in the anger and depression stage, despite how unobvious it looks like. But with respect to the ultimately, in the risk mitigation perspective, we look into the best risk management level dollar cost average at, and these are the levels that I would personally dollar cost average at. So I think if you bought at these levels already, just hold and watch the movie. right? And hold long term, because that's the best methodology on securing long term capital gains, for obvious reasons. So definitely be careful. Despite feeling FOMO, definitely there's nothing to be fear of missing out about. It's just about controlling your risk and be patient going forward. So really appreciate you for dropping by again on this Friday. I'm really exhausted right now, so I'm gonna head off and relax a bit and stay tuned for this call. Take care.